Another reason that I say, and we need to understand this, the fact that we exist is a miracle. You think this hasn't happened before? That people haven't gathered all of our information, gathered all the tools, and then destroyed it? I'm surprised that we even know anything about ourselves. I am so fucking proud of, I'm so proud of us.
On the battlefield, you cannot erase what we've done. For how can you erase a George Washington Carver from agriculture? How can you erase Katherine Johnson from space? How can you erase Garrett Morgan from every traffic light that you come in contact with in America? How can you erase Madam C.J. Walker from modern business practices? How can you erase Dr. Charles Drew? How can you erase Black Wall Street? How can you erase Fannie Lou Hamer? How can you erase Daniel Hale Williams? How can you erase Ida B. Wells? How can you erase Benjamin Banneker, Maya Angelou, Dorothy Height, Ralph Bunche, Percy Julian, Bessie Coleman, Thurgood Marshall, Shirley Chisholm, Duke Ellington, Rebecca Lee Crumpler, John Lewis, Jane Bolin, Frederick Douglass, Paul Robeson, Mary McLeod Bethune, Barack Obama, and Kamala Harris? You can't.
Why is there so much fear around Black history? What do you think? Because I have come to notice Black history make white America tremble. The white system goes down. When white system hear the history of Black people, they go down. So, and every year we see pushback. Books banned, lesson watered down, truth being replaced with silence. But let's be real. The fear isn't about history itself. It's about what the history reveals. Black history exposes systems, racism, exploitations, erasure that build a nation, but were never meant to be fully acknowledged. So if the truths come out, the myths crumble. The myths of a fair, just society, the myths of I call it mediocrity, the myths that oppression is ancient history, So erasing Black history isn't just about protecting children. It's about protecting power. Because when you teach people the truth, they begin to question everything. And that's dangerous to those who benefit from the lie. Yeah. And as we know, the whites benefit from the lie that they are trying to hide. So before we continue, let's watch these videos and then we'll come back here and talk about it.
This is crazy. This is absolute madness. They're trying to erase us like we were never here. Do you understand that? People who are African American and Latino that fought for this country, that put their life on the line so we could have the freedom and the things that we take for granted on an everyday basis. They did that for us. They passed away in the process. And this man wants to erase that. So people in the future don't know that that happened. Do you understand? Like right now, we know that happened. But if he erases those names, if he gets away with that, that means 30 years from now, those people went, fought, enlisted, did everything what they had to do for their country, and enable for, like I said, and us to have the freedom for nothing, because they would not even be remembered. They would not even, like, it would be as if they just got erased. Now, I know a lot of people try to tell me that Trump isn't racist. I've had a lot of African American and Latinos try to tell me that Trump isn't racist. Yeah, you must, I don't know. But whatever it is, like, I'm not trying to sway you. I'm not going to argue with you. If you think he's not racist and you're Latino, if you're my people, or if you're African American and you don't think this man is racist and he's out to harm our people, then I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to try to convince you. That's fine. Great. Stay over there. That's all I can say. Stay over there. I know a lot of people sit here and really try to go back and forth, but you can't see. No, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Because it's plain as day. And if you can't see this because you don't want to. So I for one, I ain't going to try to convince you. I'm here and make posts for the people that already have come to that conclusion, who totally understand that what's going on is intentional and it's an agenda. That's who I make posts for like-minded individuals, in case they got information that I can use, that I feel is helpful for me and mine, or I can put up information for them that I think is useful for them and theirs. That's what I do. I'm a nobody, bro. I'm just a regular Joe Schmo that gives a fuck. That's it.
Do you want to know how bigoted the Trump administration is? Because I'm about to tell you. It's been deleting all references to black and female soldiers. That includes from the DOD website, it includes from the White House website, and I think most appallingly from the Arlington Cemetery. These are people who fought and in some cases literally died for America. They've won awards for heroism, and they're being deleted from history because in Trump's America, you are not allowed to be black or a woman and have contributed to the country. And last night I saw a really shocking example of it. It eliminated pages commemorating a guy named Charles Calvin Rogers, a black man. Rogers retired as a brigadier general, but in Vietnam, he won the Medal of Honor, America's highest medal of valor, because he defended his base from 3 separate assaults while being severely wounded 3 times. But he's a black man, so it doesn't count. And now if you Google him, here's what his page on the Department of Defense website says. It's listing him as having the DEI Medal of Honor, as if they only gave it to him because he's black. And that's where America is now. That's how bigoted these people are. If you're black, if you're a woman, if you're gay, if you're trans, if you're anything but a straight white man, anything you've got, anything you've been given, anything you've won has been given to you because you're one of those groups. Not only are they saying that prejudice and bigotry don't exist, but also the only people who can validly achieve anything are white men. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Otherwise, DEI. And somehow that even includes people who have gone out onto the battlefield and been shot and killed for their country. If we acknowledge them, somehow it's DEI. It's white male supremacy straight up. The only valid citizens are white men. Everyone else is suspect. Everyone else is second class. This has explicitly become the ideology of the Trump administration. No one has any place here but white men. And everyone else, black, brown, gay, trans, non-citizen, female, you not only have nothing to contribute to the country, according to the Trump administration, but you should be deleted from history if you had contributed something previously. You should be deleted and forgotten. I'm about to tell you. It's been deleting all references to black and female soldiers. That includes...
On the battlefield, you cannot erase what we've done. For how can you erase a George Washington Carver from agriculture? How can you erase Katherine Johnson from space? How can you erase Garrett Morgan from every traffic light that you come in contact with in America? How can you erase Madam C.J. Walker from modern business practices? How can you erase Dr. Charles Drew? How can you erase Black Wall Street? How can you erase Fannie Lou Hamer? How can you erase Daniel Hale Williams? How can you erase Ida B. Wells? How can you erase Benjamin Banneker, Maya Angelou, Dorothy Height, Ralph Bunche, Percy Julian, Bessie Coleman, Thurgood Marshall, Shirley Chisholm, Duke Ellington, Rebecca Lee Crumpler, John Lewis, Jane Bolin, Frederick Douglass, Paul Robeson, Mary McLeod Bethune, Barack Obama, and Kamala Harris? You can't.
This is not new. Their tactics are a little bit more bold and open. I mean, when I looked the other day and saw how they're trying to sell off civil rights museums where our ancestors had the courage to be a part of the Freedom Riders, but yet you want to sell that piece of history. As I look at all of what's taking place to our black veterans there at the cemeteries and how they have erased their names, so now you don't know who was the first black and who made some contribution. Don't you know that our blood built this country? Don't you know that our sacrifice made America what it is? Don't you know that America cannot talk about the land of the free and the home of the brave without adding black people to that story? And that's why it disturbs me for somebody who ain't even from America to try to erase what has been done in America. Take yourself back to South Africa. You don't deserve to be in America.
And this is why I started the Family Arts Museum, Family as Fine Art, Home as Curated Space, Community as Gallery, as my master thesis 10 years ago. We have to make our homes, our libraries and our museums. We have to archive ourselves, archive our family history, archive our family technology. We have to archive it because these institutions are not designed, they are designed to do just this, to gather and destroy, gather and destroy. We have to get back to, some of us, and some of us are continuing the tradition of passing down curated archives of who we are. And it's not just about the physical, it is about the mental, the spiritual. It's about how we connect to each other, how we solve family problems, how we solve community problems. Black community technology is some of the most important technology on the planet, period. Why do I say that? Well, it's the technology that the people who have survived anything have used to survive. So you can't argue with me. You can't say, well, this information is more important. No. Okay. When you look at what has happened to at every single generation, something was there to destroy us, yet here we are. That's technology. That's science. That's math. That's alchemy. We have to document our own alchemy, and we have to keep it in our family, in our home, in our community. That is our institution. And this is another reason that I say, and we need to understand this, the fact that we exist is a miracle. You think this hasn't happened before? That people haven't gathered all of our information, gathered all the tools, and then destroyed it? I'm surprised that we even know anything about ourselves. I am so fucking proud I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of who we are. I'm so glad that I know the magical people that we are. I'm so glad.
This current administration is doing everything in its power to try to completely erase us from history. And I'm here to combat that with many means. I am creating an archive, a real one, a place where we don't have to beg these institutions to tell us about us or jump over any kind of paywall. I'm Walt. I'm the founder of the Bristol English Project. I help reconnect Black folks with our genealogy, and I've been doing this for a few years, but now I want to take it to the next level, and I may need some help. To do that, for starters, I need Kindex. Kindex is a tool that allows us to transcribe and store these records and make them available for anyone. So have them host this archive over at Kindex. It runs $700 for 3 years. To transcribe documents, it costs $5 per 20 documents. Y'all see where I'm going with this? What do I need from folks? If people can donate, please donate. Every dollar helps keep this project alive. Like I said, $5 gets 20 documents transcribed. Second, if you have records, letters, deeds of sale, deeds of gifts, anything, and I'm also speaking to white people right here, if your family has that, you can email them to me. If you feel some type of way and you get in your feeling, you can send them to me anonymously. I just need the records. When I signed my first deal, I signed the most. Email them to me. Let's get these documents transcribed before they disappear. And lastly, if you can share this around, the more eyes we have on this, the more history we can save. And this is just the beginning. I'm looking for a volunteer coordinator soon. I will be talking more about that. And after that, I'll be looking for people who really want to come in and get this work done. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not waiting for the institutions and all these big folks to give us permission to learn about our history, let alone store our history. No. Let's take it into our own hands. Donate, share, comment, send me those documents, and let's build something that lasts. Go love yourselves.
I wonder how slavery gets talked about like it was just mean overseers and hard work instead of the hell that it actually was. Yeah, you can thank America's favorite pastime. Editing black pain to make white people sleep better at night. Let's talk about the Federal Writers Project's slave narratives. In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, the U.S. government decided that it was time to preserve history. So they sent writers under the Federal Writers Project to interview formerly enslaved black people. Sounds good, right? Except for one small problem. Most of the interviewers were white. Many were the children or grandchildren of slave owners. And some of them were full-blown racists with clipboards. Go figure. Now imagine surviving slavery. Imagine the beatings, the grapes, the family separations, the chains, and sitting across from some smiling white stranger asking you to tell your story. What exactly do you think you're going to say? Especially when you know that telling the raw truth could get you or your family attacked, harassed, or worse. So what happened? A lot of formerly enslaved people softened their stories. Some minimized the brutality. Some called enslavers good or kind masters. Because survival teaches you how to talk when danger still lives next door. And the interviewers? They leaned into it, of course. They asked safe questions. They deleted the ugly parts. They cleaned it up. And the result? A big shiny archive that too often reads like slavery was a sad, complicated misunderstanding, instead of what it really was. Genocide, terror, legalized torture. And even today, people pull these watered-down narratives to argue. They say, see, slavery wasn't that bad. Some slaves liked their masters. Please. Yeah, because they had a gun pointed at their futures while they told the story. The Federal Writers Project didn't record history. It rewrote it at the source. America didn't want to hear the truth about slavery. It wanted a bedtime story, with Black suffering neatly tucked in at the end. So we're not going to romanticize the past. We have to remember. Even our pain had to pass through white hands before it was allowed to exist on paper.
Look at this, y'all. They said they gonna delete the race and gender databases from the state libraries. This is what I've been saying. Babe, they gonna delete the race and gender databases from the state libraries.
Who did what?
Mississippi.
They did what?
They're going to delete the race and gender databases from the state libraries.
What is that?
It means that they're going to, all of the race and gender studies that they've been doing for the last, I don't even know how many years, they're deleting them. So we got to hold on to our books. That's what I'm saying. We got to hold on to our books, make sure that we have our own personal libraries, and download everything you want to keep, that you find the sources and the sites and everything you want to hold on to and remember, because this is real, y'all. They said they gonna delete the race and gender databases from the state library.
Why? Donald Trump is trying to erase the graves of Black, Hispanic, and women veterans at the Arlington National Cemetery.
Why are they erasing all the contributions from Black servicemen on a lot of the governmental websites? Decorated Black servicemen.
Task and Purpose reports that the website for Arlington National Cemetery has unpublished links in lists of notable graves, walking tours, and educational materials pointing to Black, Hispanic, and women veterans, as well as Medal of Honor winners. But according to Task and Purpose, in recent weeks, the website has scrubbed dozens of pages on grave sites and education materials pertaining to the histories of prominent Black, Hispanic, and female service members buried in the cemetery, along with educational materials on dozens of Medal of Honor recipients. Cemetery officials confirmed to Task and Purpose that the pages were unpublished to meet recent orders by Donald Trump and his Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who have been targeting race and gender-related language and policies in the military. They're trying to hide these graves because they're the graves of Black, Hispanic, and women heroes. You may recall that Trump recently banned the history of the Tuskegee Airmen from being taught at the Pentagon. These were a series of Black pilots from World War II who were quite the heroes. Movies were done about them.
Why? You know why? Because they're racist motherfuckers. Because they racist. Racist. What? You dumb motherfuckers. What you think the reason is? Because they are racist. Stupid bitches. Racist. That's why. That's the reason.
Today I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with this administration and their attempts to, no surprise to me, erase all Black folk and people of color from the United States government history and their websites. They're trying to erase and scrub the government websites of all Black people and people of color. The Tuskegee Airmen proved Blacks were able to fly fighter aircraft and support those bomber forces in World War II, and they did a hellacious job. They want to take down Sergeant William Carney, the first Black Medal of Honor winner. They want to remove the Navajo code talkers. Well, they have removed the Navajo code talkers from the Pentagon website. They just happen to be people of color.
Trump wants to close the Schomburg Museum. He wants to close the Black History Museum in D.C. They want to erase us as a people. They want to erase our history. They want to erase our legacy. But we're not fucking going anywhere. Our families built this country on their backs. They bled building this country. They died building this country. So this country is ours. We own this fucking country. This country is just as much as ours as you think it's yours. You know what I'm saying? So we're not going anywhere. Y'all still haven't paid us our reparations. We still waiting on that. You never paid that. Black people, we have to stick together more than ever now. We have to stick together. We have to support one another. We have to stay informed. We have to stay up. We have to stay positive. We have to lift each other up. We have to support Black businesses. We got to build our own motherfucking businesses. Let's not rely on them. Y'all want to fucking pull back on DEI. We can do it on our own. We can provide on our own. We've been scraping with scraps and making fucking gold out of that shit. We are fucking innovative and creative people, and you cannot remove who we are. You cannot remove our history, our creativity, what we brought to this fucking country over from Africa. When y'all brought us on this fucking ship, we never forgot who we was. We're fucking kings. We're fucking queens. That's why you see us. We stay iced out. We stay blinged out. Because we never forgot who we are. We know who the fuck we are. We know we royalty. No matter how y'all try to fucking portray it or fucking create whatever fucking narrative. We are fucking kings and queens. Black people, I fucking love you.
Welcome back. I hope you have get that. American black are reacting. White people, some of them, they are reacting because it has come with a lot of, shock. Why are you trying to whitewash the history? Why are you trying to erase the history of black people? Why are you trying to delete important figures of black people? Right now, we know Mississippi has now deleted anything to do with race and gender. What does that mean? That means that there is no any data about the race, data about the gender in Mississippi. That's what's going on. A lot of key figures have been deleted, in museum web pages and etc., etc. This means that we are trying to do away with black people. We are trying to forget black people. We are trying to deny the fact that black people did something important for the country America. We are trying to erase the narrative that black Americans build America. And the generation that is coming, they will not know anything to do about white and black. They will just be taught the history of, white people are great. White people are the great inventors, great scientists, great etc. Now, let's think like this. If the history of black people is erased, and coming generation does not get any, access to it. What does that mean? We have this story, and the history tells us that black people were the founder of America. Black people were in America way back before white people come to America. Now, the white people, generally, as we know right now, white people does not have history. The history of white people start with black people. The history of the dream of America always start with black people, or else start with black Americans, how they built, how they were enslaved, how they were tortured, the racism and everything. So the history of white people always involved around black Americans. Now, something like CRT is being banned. Now, some states have passed laws limiting the teaching of topics they associate with critical race theory. Even though CRT isn't typically taught in K-12 education, these laws often end up censoring discussions of institutional racism, slavery, segregation, and the ongoing impacts of those history. Now, it is being banned. Books are banned. Books that are talking about black people, like Toni Morrison's Beloved, or works about Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and others, they have been pulled from schools' library. These books have been pulled down from the library. Now, students do not have any access on them. Black students do not have any access on them. Even white people, white students cannot access the history. So they don't know. When you tell them that, you colonized us, you enslaved us, you are racist towards us, they will say, we don't know about that. Where's the proof? There is no proof because the history is erased. The books have been pulled down. So you will be telling them, they will be hearing it as a movie. And that is the worst thing. Okay? Now, advanced placement African American studies was blocked or altered in some places. Florida, for example, made headlines for rejecting the course over content it was said, it said was historically incorrect. Okay, it's very complicated here, but let me tell you some key factors what's happening. All this is about politics, cultural backlash, control of narrative. When I say politics, I talk about race and education have become political flashpoint. Now, some politicians frame the teachings of systematic racism as harmful to students. So it is all about politics, especially to white students. Okay? They are saying it is harmful to white students. So it is all political moves. It is all political to make sure that a black generation ends with this, or black history ends with this. You know, when I say about cultural backlash, I talk about, for example, after the protest following George Floyd murder in 2020, there was a rise on effort to push back against discussion about race, equality, and history injustices. History shapes how we see ourselves and our country. Now, controlling these stories get told is a way of shaping national identity. And that's why I say that black people will lose their identity. The black people who are here today, at least they have clue. They know what's happening. They still have the books, you know. But without us having this in our own museums, in our own archives, it will impact our coming generation, our coming granddaughters and, Gen Alpha and those who are coming before us. And it will be so hard to them to know their true identity, you know. So they delete this. They whitewash the history. They come with their own narrative. So our black Americans generation that is coming, they will find that the history is no more there, and this matters a lot to black history. It matters a lot because students will miss out, and the marginalized group struggles and contributions of black Americans will be wiped out. No one will know about that. So it will continue keeping the system invisible and challenged and inequality. So it is so bad this happening. Now, this will lose the truth of understanding, because if the history is erased, if the black history is erased, American loses an honest account of how the country was actually built. I know we are understanding that all together, okay? And losing the truth, that means we will lose the truth about slavery, the brutal truth about slavery, Jim Crow law, the brutal truth about mass incarceration, you know, redlining, and etc. The resilience, creativity, and brilliance of black people who fought back hard, we will lose that truth. And when truth is watered down, it creates ourselves a false sense of progress and ignores the systems. And this will still affect black communities that is coming, or black communities of today, because false history will be brought up. So if you tell someone they were brutal on us, we don't know about that. As I said earlier, it will weaken the national identity. You can't build unity on a fake version of history. Deleting black contribution from the American story sends a message that some people's struggles and accomplishments don't matter. The scientists that don't matter. Those who invented things in America, the black Americans, don't matter. The patriotism only counts when it's easy, you know, not when it requires self-reflection. So it weakens the idea of that the US is a place of all people, because that is the agenda they have been telling us. US is the country of all people. Now, black Americans have been at the heart of every major push towards justice in this country, from abolition to civil rights to modern movement like BLM and etc. And black leaders have forced the country to live up to its ideas, invented new forms of art, language, protest, and imagination. So erasing this history make it easier for oppressive system to continue unchallenged, because the lessons of the past resistance is no more there. So our current people, or the people who are coming, the black people, they will not know about BLM. They will not know about Martin Luther King. They will not know about maybe Barack Obama. They won't know about those who fought for us, and they died because of us. So that means they will silence the innovative or renovation or innovation and resistance. So it is too bad. And I'm sensing that this is the work of supremacy. They want to take back control of America, because they fear the history of black people, because the history of black people is what is carrying on America. So what it can be done for black people is maybe we may preserve books, you know, independent media and books, have our own museums, have black-led schools, museums and archives, oral history and storytelling, community organizing, because that's all we can do. We cannot prevent them from deleting because they are doing it. The government have decided. The administration is doing it. So, as I said earlier, in most of my videos, black people, we all need to unite because with the unity is where we'll come strong. Even if our history is being deleted, that means, and we are still strong, we can overcome and we can have that strength, and they can, they will fear this. They will fear this. Let me tell you for free, they fear the unity of black people. And you know that. And that's why we have these clashes between black Americans, Jamaicans, black Americans and Africans, because it is being created. It is being deepened. The cracks are being put there to make sure that we never unite. Because when all this history is being deleted, let's not think about ourselves who are living right now. Think about 2032. Think about 2050. Think about the black American kids, black people, black kids who are coming. Let's build a better future for them. Let's do what needs to be done right now. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Tell me, how will we do to prevent our history from being erased completely? Till next episode, peace out.